Hey there Facebook, it is Vanessa here again, your motivational speaker, trainer and head coach from Live, Love, Give. And today's message is all about when your drive to be efficient prevents you from being effective. And I can't wait to dive into this topic for you guys because I've been having some really interesting conversations with some amazing human beings out there who are getting stuck in this loop, and that's why I'm totally inspired to share this with you guys today. So all about that drive for efficiency preventing us from being effective. And so first of all, I wanted to have a conversation with you guys about bringing some consciousness to our definition of what efficiency is, what effectiveness is, and ultimately bring to you guys the thing that we know intellectually, but I want you to stop and think and remind yourselves of that efficiency isn't the same as effectiveness. Efficiency is all about management of energy. It's about, doing the least amount to get the most amount. And ultimately, effectiveness is really about being successful and actually getting, working towards something and being effective in attaining it. So what I wanted to talk to you about is how our brain is wired. Now, our brain is wired when we are unconscious and we're not developing ourselves and we're not building conscious awareness around our patterns and how we're showing up. Ultimately, what happens is our human brain is wired to seek pleasure, and in the form generally of instant gratification, avoid pain at all costs, and to be as efficient as possible. And efficiency is oftentimes doing nothing or just doing the same thing we already at one stage decided was a good idea, and instead of using our energy to have a think about that and maybe make some changes, our brain wants to just remain efficient. We made the decision once, it must have been a good idea, we'll keep doing that thing. And I'm reminded of a couple of years back, I just wanted to share this little snippet of story that can be used as a great analogy, and ultimately I use it as an analogy. And what it was a couple of years ago, I found myself in Spain, in Madrid actually, and I actually went to a bullfight. And I look back on that time and I think, what was I thinking? I absolutely had zero idea as to what I thought a bullfight was. I was actually really excited about going. I thought, wow, I'm in Spain, I get to go and experience, going to a bullfight, and it's something that, it's just, historic here. It's something they've always done and they continue to do. And I was really excited about experiencing that part of the culture. Anyway, unbeknownst to me at the time, and I probably should have thought about it, it was probably one of the most horrific experiences I've ever had. I was almost in tears at this event, and it was so, watching these matadors, really antagonize these bulls, these animals, and why I wanted to bring this story to you is that the bull kept coming back to the matador that was stabbing it. It was putting another knife in its back, it was just antagonizing it, and the bull just kept coming, and it kept coming, and it kept coming. And that's the whole bullfight. The bull you slowly see it dying. It keeps doing the same thing over and over again, expecting that it's going to get a different result. The definition of insanity. And I continuously remind myself of this. I ask myself, am I being the bull? Am I stuck in that mindset of just doing the same thing over and over again, trying to be efficient, but ultimately not being effective? The bull didn't want to die. To be effective, it wanted to win the fight against the matador, but it wasn't shifting up its attack. It was keep doing the same thing over and over again and continue to die. And that's why I use that as an analogy in my own life and with people that I work with, because I think it gives us an outside perspective to see just how insane we can be when we're operating from the place of efficiency and we're not being effective in our lives. And the reason why we get stuck in that efficient way of being is because we're trying to chase certainty and control. And what I want to let you know is that you opting to chase certainty and control is costing you your freedom and your fulfillment. And it is only when we do the work and we stop trying to handball the hard stuff, we stop trying to take the easy path that ultimately ends up being the hard path. We stop trying to find the magic pill, the instant thing that's going to, get us the result that we're after. And we stop doing that same thing and trying to use that strategy over and over again that we know is not working. If we just stop and take a breath and have a look at what's going on in our lives, and we can shift, we decide to consciously rewire the brain. We consciously decide to shift into the prefrontal cortex and decide that I am worth the long-term fulfillment instead of just chasing the instant gratification that I know time and time again is just so empty. Time and time again, I might chase that instant gratification, feels good for the moment, but ultimately I'm left with a life that I'm not feeling fulfilled in. At some point, the pain of staying the same has to start outweighing the pain of change, or we will never break through and we will never transform and we will never reach our fullest potential. And so that's why I'm hoping that today's message resonates with you. It starts getting you thinking, because we're all human beings and we all battle this. We all battle, between the efficiency and the effectiveness. Efficiency, trying to manage our time, not having to rethink something, or just playing the same pattern that we've seen in our role models, who ultimately might not have been the best of role models. If we look at the outcomes and the what they've created in their lives, we have to shift that short-term focus of instant gratification, trying to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and we have to shift it to the long-term fulfillment. Life is a long-term game, and it's not worth living when we stay stuck in our efficient brain trying to do nothing or just run the same pattern that's not ultimately getting us the result that we're after. We need to make that shift and decide that today is the day. No more will I continue to run this same old pattern in my relationship, in my health, in my finances. Enough is enough, and I deserve more, and that I have got much higher levels of potential to tap into and access so that I can truly experience fulfillment, not only for myself, but to be a role model for the people in my life that I love and that I want to see live into their highest potentials as well. So I'm really hoping that this sort of message today gets you really thinking, and it gets you thinking about how can I start developing my self-awareness so that I can consciously opt for expansion over efficiency and long-term fulfillment over instant gratification that just really doesn't get me anywhere. Get honest with yourself, have this conversation with yourself, and make the shift so that you can access your limitless potential. And before I check in with you guys, I want to make sure that you guys know that we've got the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community. It's rocking in there. Extraordinary human beings are all connecting, supporting, and challenging each other to reach their limitless potentials. And I would love to have each and every one of you guys in there with us so we can go deep and that we can support and challenge each other to get there, to shift from efficiency to effectiveness and ultimately fulfillment. So guys, I want to check in with you guys and see who's been able to join me today, and definitely let me know, what are your questions, what are your comments, what's your experience? Share it with us all here. I'd love to hear from you. You guys know how much I love connecting with you guys. So who have I got? I've got Stephen and Maggie and Jace is here, and Laval and Craig and Hassani. I'm still battling with your name, but I'm getting there. And Sean, awesome and inspirational topic. You're so welcome, Sean. So grateful to hear that this is resonating with you and you're liking this topic. I love when you guys let me know. Jeremy's here, awesome. And good morning to you, Laval. And Kelly Ann is here. Adrian's here, Muritesh. Craig, thank you so much for your kind words there. And Ram's in the house, and Ivaris. And yes, Ram, effectiveness precedes efficiency. Yes, okay, definitely. And you know, we need to, if we want true fulfillment in our lives, if we want to move past just surviving to thriving, then we need to definitely choose effectiveness over efficiency by identifying what is it that we want to create in our lives, and what is the strategy of getting there. How do I need to shift and change to get a new result in my life that I currently am not experiencing, and definitely shift out of the efficiency that just wants to keep you stuck on that sort of in that comfort zone, and what you deem to be the easy path, which is ultimately the hard path, because you never get there and you keep going around and around in circles until you die, like the bull at that bullfight that I was talking to you guys about. So I love that, Ram. Thank you so much. And Stephen and Yeltsin and Saifon and Matt and SP's here. I love it. And Cole, I'm loving that this is resonating with you, Cole. And Carolina and Savula and Tanya, awesome. And Safan, yes. And Kane's here. And thank you so much, Craig. I'm glad that this perspective is resonating with you. And Gurmeet and Rian. And Robbie, I'm grateful that you're resonating with today's message as well. And Charlie, thank you so much. Same to you. And Jessica's here. And yes, Jace, I'm no longer the bull. Absolutely, I love that. And you know, it's just a great way of thinking about it. For me personally, I just love that sort of analogy of just like getting outside of ourselves. It's often easier to see what other people or bulls are doing wrong than it is to identify that within ourselves. But when we can identify it in the external, we can start trying to filter that into how is that playing out in my life, and take responsibility and ownership for that as well. So I love that, Jace. Thanks for sharing. And Ram, without being effective, you cannot be truly efficient. It will be just drain of resources, like just going on without direction and purpose. Absolutely. And when we haven't identified who we are or what we want, then ultimately we get stuck in that game of just doing whatever we think we've once decided was a good idea, and we just keep being efficient with that, and not, you know, that's that brain not wanting to overuse energy sources, you know. And we ultimately need to recognize exactly what you're saying there, Ram, which is that we can't actually be efficient if we're not being effective. But we never know if we're being effective or not if we don't have a clear vision as to where we're going and who we are and what is right for us, what we're really called to create and experience and give and do and share and all of that great stuff. So I really encourage you guys to do that. And what I should probably say to you guys is, I do get on these power sessions with a lot of you, and it's been so phenomenal. I've loved connecting with so many of you and helping you shift your perspective with whatever your current challenge is. So I'd be honored to get to connect with you too. They're just these free power sessions that I do. So make sure that you book that in. I'll have it linked up as well. Just feel called to remind you guys of that so I can connect with you and help you sometimes make that shift out of efficiency to effectiveness, get the clarity over who you really are, what you really want, and have the courage to go after it. So that's what life is about. So definitely book one of those in with me. And Doug, I'm so grateful that this is what you needed today. Always grateful to know that these messages are hitting you when you need them. So thanks so much, Doug, and I honor you on your journey. And Zach and Mel and Elizabeth, thanks for being here. Adrian, you're so welcome. Awesome. I love that you're in need of this message today as well. Touches my heart. I love hearing that. And Sohail, thanks for being here. And Josh, this perspective can be used in so many different aspects of life. Awesome. And you're so welcome. Absolutely. In every area of your life, where are you choosing that efficiency? Where are you being the bull? When ultimately you need to rethink and access your higher levels of yourself, of your potential, through rethinking what your patterns are, and rewiring your brain by actually shifting into that long-term focus, clarity around who you are, what you want, having the courage to go after it, as opposed to getting stuck in these past patterns that really aren't moving you forward in the direction that you are called to move in. So I love that, Josh. And Tristan's here. Awesome to see you. And awesome, Adrian. I love that you're finding this great. And Ram, efficiency has no meaning and value without effectiveness. Yes, exactly. That's correct. And John's here. And Brian, so what you were saying is that if I can gain leverage on myself by shifting to a more effective mindset. Yeah, so yes, definitely. So absolutely. So whenever we can make the shift from efficiency, which is the back part of the brain, which is just trying to reserve its energy, it just wants to make one decision and stick with it. And until we decide that we want to shift into the prefrontal cortex and consciously start designing our lives, that's when we start to shift from efficiency, energy management, to effectiveness. What's actually going to get me the result, instead of, you know, being stuck in efficiency, which ultimately Ram is saying, which I love, you know, that if we get stuck in that efficiency, it's actually not effective. We just stay our entire lives running these old past patterns that we know aren't fulfilling because we're experiencing it. But why do we keep going back to it? Because we're trying to, you know, stay stuck in this efficiency because we're trying to avoid the pain we perceive is going to be generated through getting inside and making the effort to rewire the brain, get consciously focused. But ultimately, it's a long-term game. So if we can shift from short-term gratification to long-term fulfillment and freedom, you know, that is when we can have the desire and the energy shift from efficiency to effectiveness and ultimately create the dreams that we are looking to create in our lives. So I hope that answered your question there, Brian. Let me know if I didn't quite get that right. Really want to add value to you guys. And Safan, yes, help one another to get there. Absolutely. You know, and we can do that by being the role model, you know, for the people in our lives. Stop focusing on what everybody else is doing wrong. Start owning where you're just trying to be efficient rather than effective, and start being a leader in your own life. That is the best way that you can help and support others, which is ultimately going to lead you to your fulfillment, because I always talk to you guys about how it is your growing of yourself and your ability to contribute to the lives of others that is your ticket to fulfillment. Absolutely. So love that, Safan. Thank you for sharing. Mario's here and Elizabeth. And yes, Safan, you're really loving the topic. Awesome. I love that. And Tomican, thank you so much for joining me again. I always love seeing you. And Rose is here. And Brian, so what you were saying is that if I can use the pain, pleasure, pressure, and switch to an effective mindset. Yeah, absolutely. And we make the shift from feeling like making the change is going to be painful to it being pleasurable by shifting our focus from the short term to the long term. And sometimes we need to see other people doing that to be able to realize that it's true. And sometimes we just need to get into action and do something different. We need to be brutally honest with ourselves about what's not working, but then not stay stuck worrying about what's not working, and shift to, hey, what else could I be trying here? What do I need to learn? What other strategy could I put in place? And how can I shift to the long-term fulfillment that is going to be generated once I get out of the old survival, you know, brain and into my prefrontal cortex, where I can consciously design my life rather than fall into default. So I love that, Brian. Thanks so much for your question. Hope that resonated. And Matthew and Jason's here, and Simon from Mexico. I love it. And Isaac and Pop. Yes, and Brian, so what yours? Yes, I think I just answered that same question. Caden's here. Love it. And Craig. Thank you so much for your beautifully kind words there. Isaac, loving that you're loving this. And Safan, what is right for us? Absolutely. And Kamang and Elliot and Sunil, thanks for being here. And Brian, this subject ties in with your session on the 3 types of wisdom in regards to stop being the bull in different parts of my life. Absolutely. And I love that you're seeing the connections in these different lives that I'm generating for you guys, and you can help those to stack on top of each other. I really hope that they're adding value to you. And so thank you so much, Brian. And Dat is here, and Carolyn, and Ram. Sadly, many people are pseudo busy focusing on only on efficiency with no real results. Absolutely. So many of us are walking around life, being unconscious. And, we have to at some point be woken up. I'm hoping that this message might be the ticket for some people to wake up a little bit, just get you thinking. That's ultimately why I want to jump on these lives, to just share a new perspective, shake things up a little bit. You might not know that you need these messages, but sometimes they wake us up, and that's the experience that I've had throughout my life with people sharing their perspectives. So absolutely, Ram, thank you so much for sharing here. And Lewis and Kwama, thank you for your kind words there. And Hassani, I'm reading about this right now, overcoming fears through action. Absolutely. I think an extreme focus on efficiency is just another form of procrastination, which is related to fears. Yes. At some point, we have to realize that progress, even when messy, is still progress. The hardest part for me, though, is I can't stand messiness and chaos. Ha ha ha. Me either. I hate it. But you're so spot on when we can shift to that mindset of losing the expectations about what progress is meant to look like. It has to be this huge thing we achieve, and take it back a notch and start just reflecting on your daily lives. Like, reflect back and you know what I do every day, identify a lesson learned. At the end of your day, reflect back, and I always find a magic moment, something extraordinary that happened that day, and also, what did I learn today? One little lesson. And I did that exercise in my journaling for 2 years straight. And it's so awesome. Sometimes I flick back on those journals and I just open up randomly and I look at, one of those lessons learned and remind myself. And when you take the time out, it might take you 5 minutes to just reflect on your day, but you realize how much you are learning each and every day. And there is so much power in seeing that progress. You guys know I'm always saying that progress equals happiness. We are happy as human beings when we feel like we're progressing, and it doesn't have to be this extraordinary, huge leap of progress. It can just be in the small things in order to generate those happy feelings and those proud moments. So I love that, Hassani, and thank you so much. I love that you are currently studying all around fears, and definitely that's awesome. And Ram, effectiveness is leadership, efficiency is management. Yeah. Wow, Ram, I absolutely love that. That is so, so cool. Effectiveness is leadership, efficiency is management. Absolutely. And management is all about just where we are now, how do we just maintain and manage, and leadership is being visionary and looking to the potential, the possibilities, and that is where life begins, shifting from management to leadership. I love that, Ram. That is so awesome. I always love having you on these lives and contributing your words of wisdom. So, so cool. And Ilya, Dale Carnegie talks about growing yourself and not judging others. Yes, love how you bring this topic back to surface. Absolutely. Yes, definitely growing yourself, focusing on your personal growth rather than worrying about what everybody else is doing wrong. You lead by being a leader in your own life and inspiring others through your actions and, walking your talk, not just talking the talk. So I love that. Thanks so much for sharing, Ilya. And Mwambutsa, thanks for being here. And Adrian, I'm realizing lately that I do need these messages. I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful that you keep showing up, Adrian. I love having you here. And Christian's here. Awesome to see you. And Stella. Thank you so much for your kind, beautiful words there. And Hassani, that is awesome. I definitely need to get back to nightcap journaling on what I've learned. You're so, so welcome. Yeah, it's just such a easy little tool to do, but there's so much value in it so that you can feel the progress on a daily basis. Like I said, progress equals happiness. You want to feel happy each day. Start reflecting on how you are progressing, no matter how big or small it is. There's so much power in doing so. And I love that you're about to restart that, Hassani. So, so cool. And awesome, guys. It is so, so awesome to have you guys join me. As always, you guys light up my world. I love getting to engage with you, getting to hear you guys share your words of wisdom, your experience. It's so, so beautiful. And I would love so much to connect with you guys deeper in the Limitless Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community. So make sure you click on that link that I've put on today's video and request to join. I'll accept you. I would love to have you guys in there. There are so many beautiful human beings in there. They're just lighting up my days, seeing their interactions, seeing the relationships that they're building, seeing them access new levels of their potential by challenging themselves to get outside of their comfort zones, get out of efficiency and into effectiveness, get clarity, get direction, and go for it. So I love that so much, guys. Definitely come and join. I'm sending you guys all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I appreciate you so, so much. And make sure all of you guys, if you haven't already, book in a 15-minute power session with me. I'd love to get to meet with you, connect with you individually, and get to see what you're currently going through. What are your challenges? Where do you need a new perspective? How I can help and support you to access a new level of your limitless potential. I'd love that so much. So I'll link it up after here. You guys can book in if that calls to you. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Sending you so, so much love, and thanks so much for joining me.